In 1935, just a couple of years after the formation of the Auto Union group of companies, Audi designed and built a pair of Roadsters on its front 225 series chassis. Over time, the Roadsters disappeared and were almost forgotten, until Audi decided to do something really incredible for their 100th anniversary. Hi, I'm Joe Kelly Jr. Welcome to the Car Room Magazine's Playing with Cars. When Audi chose CMC to replicate those Roadsters in scale, it gave one of the hobby's best manufacturers the chance to do something equally incredible, only in model form. Well, we've got the first 3 hand samples of that model here at the Car Room, and we want to share them with you tonight. Follow me, they're right back here. To say that CMC's Audi front 225 Roadsters are comprehensive is to downplay the model's 1,600-piece visual. With opening doors, hood and trunk, working steering, and a functioning suspension, the models give off a delicate, hand-built, exclusive feel. Of course, they are hand-built, but 4,000 of each of the color variations will be made. All of the CMC earmarks are here. The stamped metal hood has a piano hinge and real louvers punched through its sides, and the paint on each of the cars was flawless. The trim is done in chromed metal and plastic, and some of the handles, bits, and pieces are castings the size of a pinhead. The bumpers are polished spring steel, carefully bent into shape and mounted to equally meticulous brackets with tiny nuts and bolts. In the grille, more than 24 vertical steel strakes are soldered into position inside a chromed, stamped metal shell. Astride the assembly, twin horns, each wearing a delicate stamped face, join beautifully etched headlights. Like the beepers, these are screwed into the headlight bar and wired in. Wire of a different kind centers the hand-laced wheels with their stamped steel hubs and sweet, real rubber Excelsior brand tires. For a better look at these, pull the cap from the spare cover, unwind the 3 lugs, and remove the spare. By now you're beginning to realize that these are striking model cars, both stylistically and in their engineering accomplishments. In front of a tilt-up trunk lid and carpeted boot, the cockpits are trimmed with fine-grained skins, neatly fitted to the seats and the door panels. The black interiors look great in the yellow and white cars, but the red leather makes for even more of an attractive contrast in the silver car's gut. Above carpeted floors, the body-colored dash on each has a tiny center cluster of knobs and dials, with a nice pair of gauges pointed right at the driver. If you haul a finger in, you can move the shifters and tilt the seat backs forward. If you're really dying for something to do, you can pose the windshield wiper arms as well. It's going to take a little more dexterity and the included pick tool to release the spring-loaded hood catches and open the bonnet, but the effort is well rewarded. It wasn't for nothing that Audi called this car the front. Its 6-cylinder engine, borrowed from the Wanderer W245, fired forward through a DKW-sourced 4-speed transaxle to drive the front wheels. And here is another amazing miniature. Everything about the 50-horsepower 6 is painstakingly replicated in a multimedia festival of steel wire, vinyl-coated cables, deep relief plastic and metal castings, and mechanically intuitive modeling. On the intake side, the fuel pump and carb have fuel lines and linkages attached. Just ahead of the distributor, a tower-style oil cooler is plumbed in with coiled steel that terminates in tiny pipe fittings. Swing the other side of the hood up and there's a row of wired-in plugs, real rubber cooling hoses with steel clamps, and a block-mounted, legibly labeled oil filter. Taken in the context of the machine-turned firewall, the loomed electrical wiring run to the starter and generator, and the delicately bladed cooling fan, this is nigh on overkill levels of detail and workmanship. Of course, there's no such thing as overkill when talking about fine model cars, and a trip to the Audi's Nethers opens up another amazing vista of hand-placed detailing. Stainless steel leaves are stacked, then bracketed together and secured with U-bolts and nuts, then affixed to the wheel hubs with watch-scaled screws. The cables, springs, and butterfly adjusters for the mechanical brakes are all here too, and they're run through grommets, brackets, and leather slings as they wind around the faux wood and real metal framework below the models. A copper fuel line is secured to the frame with steel clamps, each riveted in place. A quick warning: unless you want to break something, don't go posing those front wheels. The steering box is a gear-driven unit that activates a clockwork series of struts, arms, and rods, each riveted to the other. You'll need to steer this one the honest way, through the steering wheel. Hey, you know what? This is a stupendous model car. The detail, the features, the depth of the engineering celebrate to an almost incomprehensible level an automobile that meant much to the history of Audi. Now, the release of the models will coincide with the arrival of the real front 225 Roadster at Audi's Ingolstadt Museum. Now, that car is painted white. But bear in mind that up until just a couple of years ago, no trace of the original pair of Roadsters was to be found anywhere. Audi contracted an outside fabricator to make an all-new front 225 Roadster on a production 225 frame. These cars replicate with factory-correct colors and period-authentic paint schemes what the Roadster might have looked like had it gone into regular production. Now, we can tell you that at least one model was made in white, and that's the model in the CMC supplied assembly photographs you're looking at right now. What we can't tell you is whether or not CMC will ever sell those models to the public, and if they do choose to, what the asking price will be. We can tell you on good authority that these replicas will sell in the $320 price range. Now, CMC has a great penchant for enticing and enchanting collectors with their detailing and their features and their finger fun. If you already know about the Audi 225, that's going to make this release a home run and a no-brainer. If you don't know about the 225, but merely appreciate the art of a really well-done hand-built model car, well, there's a lot to be said for 1,600 pieces that play along so beautifully together. In any case, we give the model our very highest recommendation. Well, that's it for this episode of Playing with Cars. For the Car Room Magazine, my name is Joe Kelly Jr. Thanks for stopping down, and thank you for playing with cars. Take care. Bye-bye.